Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life. Here with MightyFan, we're going to do another vehicle vlog because why the heck not, right? But I'm doing it a little backwards this time. Usually I do it when I'm on the way from my home somewhere. Now I'm doing one when I'm going back from someplace back to my home. And I'm back here at KOP Mall, just wanted to get out a little bit, so I went and dawdled around in there and took a look at some stuff that I wasn't going to purchase, but at least just to kind of see what they have. You know, getting closer to the baseball season, so seeing what some of these stores are putting out and whatnot. And I do have the Irish effect on today with Darren Dalton, St. Pat's, and just felt like I would wear it today because next Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, is going to be, a week from today, is going to be supposedly a rainy day. And we had a lot of rain yesterday. My goodness, it was a freaking monsoon out there at times last night. And no flooding or anything, but it was, it was pretty heavy rain. But yeah, I just thought I'd get out here, look around a little bit, see what's what. Like I said, it's the week before St. Patrick's Day, so I'm probably not going to go out anywhere next Sunday. It's going to be raining, just kind of a nice day to stay in. So figured I'd wear this today instead of next Sunday. I'll wear my green, at home, just, probably one of my green t-shirts or whatever. And we'll take it from there. But, anyhow, yeah, nothing like incredibly incredible in there. Just one of the kind of recent trends that I'm noticing at some places and for certain things is they don't have the price on things, which makes things a little difficult. They have like the tag on there, they have the barcode, but there's no price. And I'm like, well, this doesn't really help anything. It's just because at Dick's Sporting Goods, they had a couple green, just random Philadelphia St. Patrick's Day like looking shirts, and they have a price on it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I could just take one up, but because I saw them when I first went in the mall. I'm like, let me look around a little bit, make the rounds and see what I could see that actually does have prices on it, and kind of look around. And I ended up not even, picking up one of those shirts as it turned out, but it would have been nice at least to know what the price was. It's like, well, I mean, if you're going to be selling stuff, I mean, that's like the next order of, you would think that would be something you want to put out there is, okay, how much did this, or maybe they don't want people to know. Maybe it's like, well, maybe if they knew ahead of time what some of these things, and yeah, it's a t-shirt. I can't imagine it would be more than even the price they go for anymore, $35 or whatever the heck it is these days. But maybe if people knew what the price was, they won't buy it. So we'll make it a secret. We'll put it out there, and they have to come up to the counter and try to figure out what the price is, and maybe by that time they're like, I already made the trip, so I'll buy it anyhow. So it could all be these mental games that these stores are playing anymore. But I can live with the mystery on those shirts, at least this time around. I mean, in a couple weeks, they'll probably be on sale anyhow. So whatever the price would have been today, they'll be a little less in a few weeks. But overall, some kind of somewhat decent stuff out there. I did see I was a little chagrined because I thought that the Patty's collection was only a Lids HD exclusive, but it's not. They're in the Lids stores too. Now, obviously, selection varies so where you live, but the oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, we'll just have to turn around. The Fanatic Patty's hat that I went pretty crazy to make sure I bought online as soon as it was available. The snapback that I showed in the last video, or I guess, was it the last video? Yeah, I think I did do the unboxing of that one then, right? So, it was the last video. They all blend together anymore, so, god damn it, I can't turn it. eventually we'll get to where we have to go. I always forget that about this mall. Sometimes it's not the easiest. Once you make one wrong turn, you're doomed. But I'll show them. I'm gonna just make my way around this way. We're gonna get where I want to go eventually. Once the cars go by. Oh my goodness, we have a parade. But anyhow, that selection hit the Lids stores, and I was chagrined yesterday. I got together with my buddy Mark M, and shout out to Mark M. We had lunch at another mall, at Springfield Mall, at Sbarro's. We went to the Lids there, and they had the Fanatic Patty set, and I said, damn it, I had to pay shipping. If I knew that these were just going to be in the stores, I could have just picked it up and not worried about the shipping and not worried about, oh, I better get this right away because mascot hats sell. And the Canadian geese, boy, they're everywhere. Look at them, just hanging around here. Here at King of Prussia Mall, there's Canadian geese. Who knew? Honors and privileges happening today. But I'm like, damn it, I had to pay shipping. I got my discount because with the Lids membership, but I had to pay shipping. So it kind of evened itself out. I could have just gone to the store, got it there, got my discount, and not have to worry about shipping. But no, I didn't realize that they would be in the Lid stores too, but they're in the Lid stores too. Anyhow, a long way about getting to my point, as usual, but they had a Cubs one there that I kind of liked, but I haven't picked it up yet. Kind of waiting, kind of, you know, I got the Maryland trip in a couple weeks, and, you know, I'm doing my best to be good before that trip, because there's a few malls there, you know, you can never have too many Oreo items, you know. So, but if, you know, worst comes to worst, maybe I can grab the Cubs hat here, or maybe even in Maryland during the trip. We'll see, depending on what else is there. The window a little bit. But, you know, nice little trip to KOP. I did pick up one of those frosted mugs, you know, you put it in the freezer and it gets cold. It's like one of those things where you don't need ice if you know, the mug gets cold, and then you put whatever drink you want in it. I picked up a Phillies one because, you know, we're getting, you know, close to the season end. You have the warmer months coming, and it's kind of a neat little thing to have. I don't have a frosted mug. I used to. When I was younger, we used to have some of those mugs in the house. Although I like putting ice in stuff because I like that little clink sound they make when you put the ice in. So maybe what I'll do is I'll freeze the mug, and maybe I'll still put ice in there to still get the clink. Twice the ice, twice as nice. Because once the mug warms back up again, the drinks will still have some ice in there. But no, I've had my eyes on it for a while, and I'm like, all right, I'm at Rally House, it's here, it's in my hand, I might as well just grab one. So that's the only thing I grabbed today. And but you know, there was kind of a tease in there because one of the lids in there had the Pirates batting practice hat with the stars, basically like the Stargell hat, and they had it on display with the Phillies with the Fanatic hat, and they didn't have another one in the store. It was a small size 6 whatever, and it was kids. I'm like, yeah, if you kidding me, it's the only one you have. It's on display, but this is it. Where are the others? Where's the adult sizes in this? Damn it! If you're going to display it. I want that hat. It's still on my hit list. I could probably grab it from New Era, but I'm like, you know, this was a possibility of getting one in store, and I didn't have to worry about the shipping. No, it teased me. I'll get even with them. There's ways. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyhow, today, it's been one of those weeks for the Philly sports scene, right? You had Jason Kelce retiring at the beginning of the week, and now Fletcher Cox retired too. Now, that wasn't a big surprise. There was, pretty much talk that he was going to hang him up too. But it's always, when you have an all-time, player on a team, it's always tough when they decide to hang it up. And that's the end. The thing about Big Fletch is that, for someone like myself that has over 1,000 jerseys in the collection, you would think it would be a hard question to answer. What's your favorite jersey of everything you own? And I mean, instantaneously, I know the answer. And I've said this before, but it's the replica Fletcher Cox Super Bowl 52 that I wore the night we won the Super Bowl, and I wore to the parade. It's just that jersey just has so much sentimental value to me. I can't. There's really nothing else that even some of the unicorn jerseys and the hard, the rare, maybe you might ever only see this once or twice in your life type stuff in the collection, but it's that Super Bowl 52 Fletcher Cox, because I mean that was the moment. That's what meant so much. And people talk about sports and how much people let it take over one's life, and it's just it's supposed to just be fun and this and that. If you live like I allowed from a young age for sports to just take over, right? And maybe in some fashion to a bit of an extreme. But that moments like that night is why. And I know in this area it's few and far between. We're not one of those charmed places where they always win, and even when they don't, they're always in the hunt for something or something. So their lulls aren't like our lulls. Like, our lulls are lulls. When our teams go through droughts, it's a freaking drought. Like the Flyers, 50 years from winning the Cup. The Sixers are probably going to touch 50, I'm sure, with their luck. It's been since '83. The Phillies went from, their inception, 1883 to 1980, before winning a championship, and then 80 to 08, and 08 to current, 24, since winning a championship. And the Eagles, obviously, they won 3 NFL championships. Some fans don't like the count for whatever reason. It's a championship, but, it wasn't a Super Bowl, so it doesn't count. I mean, it is what kind of paved the way for the NFL, but that's okay. I mean, to the point where the coach that the championship, the Super Bowl trophy is named after, the Eagles are the only team to ever beat his team in the championship game. I mean, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. And remember those idiot fans that say that. But yeah, 1960 to 2017. That's a drought. Now, some of these fan bases go, 5 years or 6 years. No, that's not a drought. That's an easy stretch for us. Okay, that's an easy stretch. All right, the droughts are what our teams go through. That's a freaking drought. So, but it makes you appreciate it. You appreciate it. Like, when you win, it means something. Because you know what you had to go through to get it. It's like when I was at that Flyers game the other day. The Philly fans are going to come out. It's what's going to happen when you poke the bear. Think things are going to happen. I'm not a violent person, but we'll have some work. We'll have some verbal back and forths. There was this Blues fan sitting in front, and the Flyers fans were booing the Blues when it was in overtime, and the Blues were kind of ragging the puck. Not really going for the net. Flyer fans are booing. That's what they've always done, right? So the Blues, so the Flyers did it, not as much as the Blues did, but they kind of did it. And the Blues fan wanted to mock the Flyer for the way you started booing, getting all vocal. Keep in mind, he didn't say beat the whole entire game because his team, at one point was losing 1-0 and it was a tie game. So he really didn't have a lot to boast about, right? But then all of a sudden he decides to get a little chesty and start something up. So I may have reminded him that his city lost the NFL franchise, and not just once but twice, and they don't have an NBA franchise, and they and he turns around and he starts, we have a little back and forth. So he's like, "Oh yeah, were you born when the Flyers last won?" Now, the best things that you want to say, you always think about after the fact. And I could have brought up to him that your team went 50 plus years without winning a cup until the Gloria and all that miracle run they had in 2019, right? By how many years? I mean, that franchise went from the goal of Bobby Orr in overtime, they have the statue of it outside of the TD Bank Garden, to 2019, even to get back to a Stanley Cup final. So, I mean, you talk about fan bases that should remember what futility was all about. But, he brings up that you weren't alive the last time your team won crap. And to me, that's one of the dumbest things to say. Because, and I know Eagle fans have had fun with the Cowboy fans about it or whatever, but you can't really help when you're conceived. It's not like the Flyers are going to win Stanley Cups in 74 and 70. Let me be born before that. I have control over that. I have no control. To me, I was born in a good year, 1978. A lot of good things happened. The Fanatic was created, Michael Myers. So, I'm happy with 78. It's a point of pride for me. Maybe you've heard that before. Right? So, but he uses that. So then, all right, look, I know the Philly fans have a big reputation. I get that. But for these fan bases to come here and poke the bear and want to see the Philly fan come out, I mean, look, I'm not responsible. I'm sorry. If things happen, if things are said, I wouldn't condone violence in any way, but if a beer can is thrown or whatever, look, you brought it on yourself. You started it with us. And that's what usually happens, because with any fan base, I don't care if it's Philly or anywhere, now I'm not a drinker, but when you mix alcohol in sports and events, stuff can happen. It's not right, but stuff happens. But some of these fans come here and they get kind of chesty with us. They like to talk. They like to mock a little bit. We know how to talk back. This isn't a quiet fan base. This isn't one where you want to go toe-to-toe. We'll gladly go toe-to-toe with you, So this guy starts getting it, and then other people start, coming in with the, 2022 when the Phillies beat the Cardinals and everything. And he starts getting, other people are starting to, chime in. Because, with the Philly fans, if you go after one, you go after all. So that's another reason you want to be careful. So other people start chiming in about this and the St. Louis and the, this and that. For all I know, the guy could have been a local guy. I had no idea, but I see the Blues jersey, and I'm like, all right, well, he's probably St. Louis. The way he acted when they were in overtime, and then when they won the game in overtime. And, it was kind of fun ribbing. I didn't make anything too personal. I wouldn't do that. I kind of get into it with a sports kind of thing. I don't try to, mock someone for how they look or, anything like that. Like, look at me. I'm not one to really talk about someone's looks, but we had a little back and forth about the teams, and I said, well, you can just enjoy a losing Cardinal season now, so have fun with that. He said, oh, I know we're going to lose. You're going from a losing Blues season to a losing Cardinal season. Have fun, St. Louis. Albert Pujols and Ozzie Smith aren't coming through those doors this season. The Pirates might finish ahead of them this year. The Pirates! So, I mean, look, the Pirates have to get good eventually, right? So, but yeah, I mean, you know, again, it was a fun little back and forth. I left. I'm like, you know what? The way things are starting to, as you can feel that little burn start coming to the back of your neck. I'm like, yeah, I better get out of here. Again, I'm not a violent person, but I'm like, the game's over. We lost. Whatever. I'm just gonna go. I'd rather sit in traffic than argue with a Blues fan about things. But so anyhow, I say that to say this. So earlier today, I had a message on my video, the last vehicle vlog, ironically on my way to that Flyers game. It was a Niner fan, you know, beating the chest a little bit. Said, "Oh, I'm glad we still have, we still have, you know, we still take space in your head. You know, we still have occupy space in your head." I'm thinking, buddy, you just don't know. I deleted the comment. Look, I try to make this channel as positive as possible. You know, I mean, dopey comments are going to get removed. They're going to get deleted. You know, it's just, look, this channel, I try to keep it as positive as I can. And I know that during football season, when I do the Season of the Fan, right, things are said, things are done. You know, it's a fan thing. Fans are going to be fans, right? But for the most part, you know, with the In the Life series and whatnot, I do try to keep it as positive. Even with the Eagles season, I try to keep it positive. Sometimes the team doesn't allow me because of how they play. But I try to keep it as positive a channel as possible. And, you know, you get these, you know, no good nicks who want to come in with their comments. And look, stuff, you know, things are said, but it's in a fun manner, you know. But I will address that, and if that person, he's probably just a troll, so he probably won't watch one of my videos at all. But if they or any of the other faithful want to watch this, then my reply is that you don't occupy. There's enough going on in my head. I don't have any more space. With the jerseys and the hats and the and the Philly teams, it just that's what occupies my head. The 49ers and the Eagles are going to be a rival. It's going to be a thing for the next few years. I don't think this is a long-term deal. I just don't. I know Eagle fans and Niner fans are battling. I know there's this big kind of, you know, Eagle fans have really kind of taken it to a level. Niner fans asked for it. They can't say they didn't, but Eagle fans have kind of, yeah, you know, they've had some fun with the Niner fans' expenses. You know, the red Cowboys and all this and that and whatever. But for me, regardless of how these next how many years go, you know, and it's possible. I mean, the Eagles, look, the Eagles are one of those franchises that it was a rough end last season, but in my mind, they're going to put it back together. This isn't a team that stays down very long. So they'll probably be fighting with the Niners at some point, whether it's next season, the following season, what have you. You know, for, you know, NFC title perhaps, right? I know Detroit's going to be up there. I know some of the other teams in the NFC. The Packers seem to be coming back up, right? I would say Dallas, but they always get in their own way. So, I mean, you know, which doesn't bother me. But some of these other teams, right? But at some point, the Eagles are probably going to play the Niners again in the playoffs, maybe multiple times. But this is something that just kind of developed. You know, this Eagles-Niners thing from the NFC title game from a few years ago, it kind of developed into something. It never really was anything before that. So, like I said, I have friends who are Niner fans. They have a lot of passion for their team, as Eagles fans do for our team. I mean, I let one of them stay at my house for that game. And Azor, his cousin, was an Eagles fan, but Azor's a Niners fan. Azor couldn't be any more nicer throughout the, you know, we talked about the game. We were very cordial with each other. It wasn't like this, you know, banging, you know, butting heads like Rams going at it after the game, right? But, you know, I will say this to the faithful, anyone who thinks that the Niners reside in have headspace for me, an Eagles fan. As tough a loss as that was last season, and that did kind of start the domino effect of the Eagles going in the other direction. But as far as residing in my head, it's not something that's going to happen. You need to understand one thing. There's one team, that will always, and I call it's called sports hate. It's not hate, it's sports hate. But they will always be the sports hate team for me, and that's the Cowboys. I don't care what goes on with the Eagles and 49ers. I don't care whatever happens with Dallas, whether they're good or bad. That's the team. That's the team that I will always sports hate the most. That's the team that I always want bad things to happen to. That's the team that still gives me great joy when they lose in the playoffs. And you know, Slim can tell you. And when we went to the Green Turtle and watched that game in Maryland, I was rooting for Green Bay like an Eagle, like they were the Eagles, to beat Dallas in that game. That game gave me great joy. The Niners losing in the Super Bowl, as cute as it was, and you know, the Niner fans and whatever with the Eagles, and yeah, it didn't hit me like Dallas losing. Dallas losing is always the ultimate. Dallas will always be the ultimate rivalry to the Eagles, to me. Some of the old heads might say the Giants. Some even younger heads would say the Giants, because when they were young, it was the Eagles and Giants battling. The Cowboys stunk those years, right? But for me, it was Dallas. It was Dallas from an early time. It will always be Dallas. Their local fans are the most annoying people in the world. Nothing will top it. I don't care what the Niners do. I don't care what their fans do. They're never going to top Dallas for me. Now, I can only speak for me. I don't know about other Eagle fans. Look, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to feel what they're going to feel. But for me, no. No. It's Dallas. It will never be the Niners. Never. I don't care what happens. They will never have that feeling to me like the Cowboys do. They just... I have too much history with that team. 2 decades of history with the Cowboys and the Eagles and their fans. And yeah. So if there is one kind of group that might reside in the head a bit, it's the local Dallas fans. Because I have had so many verbal wars with them. I mean, wars. Where I'm not a violent man, but I had to walk away a few times because it almost went down a few times. Once with the manager of Dick's Sporting Goods here at KOB. Oh my God, I was getting red. Oh my God, we were going back and forth. So nothing could ever get more than that with me. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject. I'm leaving it at that because, no. But yeah, Big Fletch retired, and you know, it's another Eagle, that, right? An all-time Eagle. He was drafted by the Eagle. He retired an Eagle. One that was part of the Super Bowl. I actually met him years ago at Modell Sporting Goods, when that used to be something. He was doing a signing. Ironically, it was before the Falcon game, before the divisional round against Atlanta that year, that Super Bowl year. So that was part of the magic of that year, you know. And he pulls up. He had a huge pickup truck. I mean, the thing was like a monster truck. And he pulled up in front of, and everyone knew it was him, because who else is going to drive that? Right? So he pulls up in that truck, and so it was a signing. It was like a free kind of deal. And they gave out these, like, you know, kind of big looking cards with him on there, and he signed one for me. Wished him luck, wished him and the team luck for the Super Bowl, for the run, rather. Not, it was before. I guess it was the divisional round, so I wished him and the team luck for the playoffs. And lo and behold, that was the Super Bowl year. And I wore his jersey. I got his replica jersey. And I think I got his jersey because I did meet him, and I think, because I had, they had different players. And I got the Fletcher Cox one because I had met him earlier in that, the playoff run. So, it kind of was in my mind to get his jersey, for the Super Bowl. And I did, and I wore it. And you can see my reaction here on YouTube. I mean, you have to go back a ways to see it. But and again, to the people who think sports just shouldn't matter, I mean, it's moments like that makes it matter. That was such an unbelievable experience, seeing them win that game, and then all that came after that game. And the wallet got lighter. Just a bit. It was an amazing experience, and I believe me, I do hope that fans that haven't seen it yet, that they experience it. I really do, like Jake, with the Vikings. I know, Robert in the FHS communities, obviously he lives in Detroit, huge Lions fan. I hope he sees it someday. I really do. Other fan bases who haven't seen it, Bills fans, right? Browns fans, Bengals. I mean, because it's quite it's an experience, to say, I saw this, I've watched this team, I've been a fan of this team my whole life, and finally they win, and that's what makes it special, right? Because you had to go through all those tough times. And I can count, I lose count with all the tough times with the Eagles before that Super Bowl victory. It's the same with the Phillies when they won in 08. But in 08, it wasn't just the Phillies. It was Philadelphia hadn't won a professional title since the Sixers in '83. So that was, decades of drought that ended. And that was a special thing, right? Because that was my first championship as a Philadelphia sports fan, my first parade, on Halloween in 08. So that one will always be special to me. But the Eagles was just a next level thing. I hope to see it with the others. I really do. I hope the Flyers win a cup. I hope that, for God's sakes, what the Sixers have put us through over the years. I really hope to see them win someday. And I feel at some point it will happen. When, I don't know. But, eventually, as we learned from the Eagles, eventually it happens. It just, you don't know when. You don't know what the circumstance is going to be. Backup players playing, whatever it is, right? But it's going to happen. And I just hope I'm still around for that. Because I'm 5 for Union too. I throw the Union in there too. I'm 5 for 5. I just hope to see all 5 win, But the Eagles, that was just a whole nother experience. That was just something so special. And I'm watching that Patriots documentary on Apple TV, or the app on the Roku, and it's really, I like sports documentaries, I really do, even if it was for a team I wasn't really particularly fond of. But it's still, it's interesting stuff. But they're just about to get to the Super Bowl 52. I don't think they're really going to do a lot with it, because they're doing more about the ones they won than the ones they lost. They did go into the Giants one because they were undefeated that year, and the Giants got them. It's the one team they couldn't bring Eli down, huh? We never had that problem. But anyhow, I love to remind the Patriot fans about that. No, Eli got away from you, huh? Yeah. He never got away from us. Sometimes he went down before he was even touched. So, with the evil laugh there at the end too. Yeah. So, but no, it's a fascinating documentary, and but I say that to say that being it was that team that the Eagles beat, it just made it more sweeter, because they were the champs, and to beat the champ, you have to be the champ. You have to beat the champ, right? And that's what the Eagles did, and that's what made it. It would have been special anyway. You did it, but it was against the Patriots. It was against a team that beat us years before, and they were the greatest dynasty. Now, the Chiefs still have a little work to do to catch up to them, right? They're getting there, but they still have some work to do. But we beat the greatest dynasty ever, and that's, to win the Super Bowl, and that was something that was truly, truly special. And Brady had his greatest statistical Super Bowl in his history, and a loss. But I'm, regardless of how things go these seasons, it's one of those things I can always hang my hat on, that I saw it and I was there. I experienced seeing it. I wasn't, at the game, but I was at home watching it out, but I was at that parade, and I'm so glad I got there, and with my good friend Mark M. And I posted a picture on Facebook today of me at the parade, and also the night that we won the Super Bowl for Fletch. So again, I wore his jersey for both things, and it's those moments, man. It's what makes it special. This is why I'm a sports fan. You have to go through a lot of crap, you do, but you get moments like that every once in a while, and for those who are lucky enough to have a dynasty more than every once in a while, it's what makes it special. And those are the moments to cherish, Because all dynasties end. I mean, they don't go around forever, And teams that win once in a while don't always win. We would love to say we could have, but, it just wasn't meant to be. But, so anyhow, I'm almost home. Took a little longer way to get home, just so I can spend a little more time with you, the viewer. You lucky people, you. And again, thanks to all of the continued support to the channel. And hope all is going well with everyone. Might be maybe not the greatest idea to park under the tree. It's kind of a windy day. You know what? Maybe I'll play it safe. I was going to take my Mini to go. I have to do a little food shopping. What I might do, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the vehicles, and I'll take the Mini to work. At least for Monday. Things you have to think about, But it's a windy day today, and there's a big tree over here with the branches hanging kind of late. Every now and then I have some branches from this tree in front of my house or on the yard or whatever I have to clean up. So I don't want one of those big branches to hit the tree. That's all I need is a big cracked windshield rather. That wouldn't be good. Again, I'm trying to be good before the trip to Maryland. Anyhow, I'm going to go in. I'm going to get myself a drink, and then I'm going to head back out. I got to get a few extra groceries here. And I think I'm going to take the Mini so I can drive it. The Bond Birdsmobile back there. So I got to drive that a little bit, right? I try to give it, at least I try to drive it on the weekends. Sometimes during the week. But this is the main vehicle, but, that's like that's just the fun runaround type of car. But appropriately green for this time of year, right? And of course for football season. So anyhow, that's gonna do it for me. But what do you always gotta do? You gotta leave those likes, like, right? Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to all future content from yours truly. Little vehicle vlog today. A little trip back from KOP. I had a good little time, just kind of, walked around a bit, looked at stores. Like I said, just walked out with the freezable mug for the Phillies. But But yeah, kind of gave a good eyeball to other stuff. For those of you who remember the Res Lives, the weekly Res Lives, the Eli eyeball. Like, I gave the Eli eyeball to some stuff there, but didn't pick anything up aside from this this Phillies mug, the freezable mug. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching. As I said, like, subscribe, bell icon. You know the deal, right? You all take care, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, everyone.